Filipino tennis ace Alex Eala has officially broken into the WTA top 40 ahead of her opening round match at the Qatar Open in Doha.
Recently, Alex Eala sent shockwaves across the tennis world. Right now, the world and the WTA establishment are furious. Alex Eala has risen to the top 40 WTA rankings in spite of everything they hurled at her, including the dubious calls, the disdain, and the treatment that made her feel like an outsider who doesn't belong. And she keeps getting better with each competition, demonstrating that skill and willpower can triumph over even the most dishonest system. This is more than simply a happy-go-lucky narrative of a gifted athlete excelling. This is the story of a young Filipino lady who is struggling against an institution that never intended for her to reach this point. The purpose of this is to reveal how the WTA handles athletes that don't match their ideal profile. This concerns Alex Eala's refusal to submit to a system that is meant to hold her back. The ascent of Alex Eala has been nothing short of remarkable. She made an impression on the world tennis scene at a very early age and was from the Philippines, which isn't exactly renowned as a tennis powerhouse. She is now aiming for her maiden Grand Slam appearance. She has also had to contend with the WTA system as a whole, in addition to her opponents on the court, at every turn. We are not exaggerating when we say that the WTA didn't want her to be successful. It's hardly a dramatic moment. We have specific instances of how she has been mistreated, how the rules don't seem to apply the same way when Alex Eala is on the court, and how she has been harmed. Allow me to recall one especially heinous instance. Something really startling occurred during the Australian Open qualifying round. In the first set, Eala was in the midst of a crucial rally. She struck a ball that was unmistakably in. It was visible to everyone in the stadium. One could see the mark on the court. The course was flawless. In all fairness, that was her argument. The cry-out, however, followed. That was called out by the referee. Alex clearly contested it as she was aware that everyone in the room knew. The ball was in. This is when things start to become truly unsettling, however. The referee said that they were unable to reach a firm conclusion. You know what they did then? They requested that the point be replayed. Give it some time to sink in. Suddenly, a ball that was obviously and that should have been Eala's point is erased. It repeats the point. You are aware that's not usual practice if you are familiar with tennis. If you're not sure about a call, you don't just get to replay points. The ball is either in or out. You make a choice and follow through on it. However, it seems that Alex Eala is an exception to the general principles. The psychological effects of such an event are profound. A point that you earned fairly and squarely is then taken away from you. Fighting for what is legitimately yours requires effort. When someone is openly cheating on you, you must remain calm. You must somehow concentrate and repeat that point because you know the system has just defrauded you. And what do you know? Alex Eala prevailed in the match in spite of all of that bullshit, the dubious calls, and the efforts to distract her. She persevered. She maintained her composure and advanced to the Australian Open qualifying finals. That is the kind of resilience and mental toughness we are discussing about. That is Alex Eala's personality. For the third time, this is where the attraction comes in. But hold on, things become much more problematic. The event at the Australian Open wasn't unique. Eala has encountered a series of dubious officiating rulings throughout her career that for some reason always seem to go against her at crucial times, when the rules are read differently when she is involved. She has been mistreated by WTA officials from the start. Eala has had to battle for every bit of respect, every piece of recognition, and every chance because she is an outsider, someone who doesn't come from the conventional tennis pipeline, and a player from a nation that the tennis establishment doesn't give much thought to. Alexandra Eala has had to earn everything the hard way, while other players have fortunate scheduling, the benefit of the doubt, and the calls that go to them. To get half as much treatment, she had to be twice as excellent. Since she is aware that tight games may not go her way, she has had to win emphatically. Since she is aware that she cannot depend on impartial officiating, she has had to develop an amazing mental game. But this is what really sets Alex Eala apart. She has not been broken by any of this. She hasn't been complaining nonstop. She hasn't offered an explanation. She has just continued to work hard, keep getting better, and keep winning. Even though she has every right to lose her temper on the court, she maintains her composure. even when she receives unprofessional treatment from the system, she remains professional. She is now in the top 40. Even though everything is against her, she has risen to the top 40 WTA rankings. When you take into account the challenges she has encountered, the difficulties she has had to overcome, and the corruption she has had to deal with, it is not just impressive, it is incredible. Making it into the top 40 is an accomplishment that merits much more praise than it currently receives. Consider the things she has achieved. She is up against athletes that have access to the world's top training facilities, athletes who began receiving professional instruction at a young age, players from nations with well-established tennis infrastructure and programs, athletes who get sponsorship agreements and financial support beyond her wildest expectations. The WTA really wants these players to be successful. None of the benefits applied to Alex Eala. She had to forge her own route. To have the same chances as everyone else, she had to put in more effort. She is now outperforming players who had every edge she lacked. Despite the system's efforts to keep her back, she is moving up the ranks. She advances in each competition she participates in. She disproves the skeptics with each victory. With each ranking point she receives, she demonstrates that skill and willpower are more important than background or supporters. Whether the WTA likes it or not, the tennis community is beginning to notice what she's doing here. Let's be honest, however, about what she is fighting for. The WTA has often shown that they have their favorites, those they have selected to get protection and promotions. They have an idea of how they want their stars to seem, where they want to be from, and how they should behave. Alex Eala doesn't meet that description either. She is too self-reliant. She is too committed to achieving her goals on her own terms. She refuses to engage in the political games that are expected of her by the tennis establishment. She's demonstrating that you don't need their blessing. You don't need their approval. All you need is skill, a strong work ethic, and an unwavering attitude. And this is what the WTA elite is really concerned about. Alex Eala is just beginning her career. She is still very young. She continues to get better. She's still hungry. Making it into the top 40 is not her ultimate goal. It's only a turning point in her path. Her goals are to place in the top 20, then the top 10, and then to contend for the Grand Slam. She can't be stopped now by anybody. The momentum is increasing. The self-assurance is increasing. The rankings are rising. Her opponents are aware that they are up against her in every competition she participates in. She is getting more experience at the greatest level with each game she plays. She is demonstrating her permanence with each triumph. The WTA may keep attempting to hinder her with dubious calls and unjust treatment. They may keep acting as if she is an outsider and doesn't belong. They may go on with their unethical behavior and partiality for certain athletes. However, Alex Eala has already shown that she can achieve in spite of everything. Therefore, it is no longer relevant. By just refusing to allow the system to defeat her, she has exposed it. She has shown to the world that a talented and driven individual can overcome the corruption of the WTA. She has shown that when you are skilled enough to succeed, even when the odds are stacked against you, fair treatment is not required. This player won the match despite being cheated out of obvious points. This player progresses through competitions while encountering unfair refereeing. Despite receiving poor treatment from tennis officials, this guy continues to rise in the rankings. Good players are distinguished from great ones by their perseverance, mental toughness, and unadulterated competitive fire. Alex Eala is developing into a fantastic person in front of our own eyes. The top 40 is just the start. She is capable of competing with anybody. She has the mentality to conquer any challenge. She has the motivation to accomplish goals that others said were unattainable for someone from her background. A tennis superstar has been discovered in the Philippines. An extraordinary talent has emerged in the sport, and whether the establishment likes it or not, she will make them appreciate her. Additionally, there is a new player for tennis fans worldwide to support, someone who embodies all the positive aspects of athletics, someone who demonstrates that honesty and diligence may triumph against favoritism and corruption. In the WTA rankings, Alex Eala is dominating. Nothing can be done to stop her either. She is dismantling obstacles, she is exceeding all expectations, and she's doing it all with poise and elegance, which just serves to discredit her detractors. Her tale is only getting started. Imagine what she will do when she eventually receives the respect and equitable treatment she is due, if this is what she can do while opposing the system. hosing the system.